Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. Defining discipline is a lifestyle, a mentality, and a brand. And within this podcast, we're going to focus on self-improvement as you follow along with me on my journey. We'll also hear from special guests of all walks of life on this podcast and their remarkable journeys that led them to where they are today. Today is day 197 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame. Now, this is my second year ever running. Within the first full year, at the age of 31, I was able to run 1,002 miles, and I did that within 175 days out of the year in 2020. So me going forward 1,500 miles is over a 50% increase in the amount of miles opposed to last year. And me going for 365 days is over a 100% increase opposed to the amount of days I ran last year. Not to mention, this year I'm doing all the days in a row. So also within this time frame, I challenged myself to run two big major races. One of those races being a 50K trail race, 31 miles, in Yankee Springs State Park in Middleville, Michigan. I was actually able to finish that race in 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds on June 5th. So I'm officially an ultra runner. And not only was I able to finish that race, but I was able to keep the streak alive by continuing to get out there every single day since and put in miles. The next big race that I'm also doing within this year is coming up here in October, and that is the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I'm really looking forward to that. I will be doing the Motor City Challenge within that. That is running the mile and the 5 mile the day before actually running the marathon, and then running the marathon after you run those two races. So that is the Motor City Challenge. I'll be running that within the Detroit Free Press Marathon. And I'm actually got my fingers crossed because that marathon is normally an international marathon before it got canceled last year. And this year, COVID restrictions still have not lifted the restrictions on the border yet. So this marathon is still just strictly going to be in Detroit. At least it's going to be in person this year. But normally it goes across the Ambassador Bridge into Windsor, Canada, and then it comes back under the tunnel, which I was really looking forward to doing. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I guess there's going to always be next year, right? So let's actually kind of talk about today, day 197. Let's talk about mileage. So for today, I put in a nice, easy day. I actually went out there. It was raining, and we went out with I went out with my wife and our daughter, and we got a nice stroller that has a rain cover over it. So we took her out for a run, and my wife is actually running the half marathon of the Detroit Free Press. So we're out there helping her train today. So today I only went for 3.6 miles. Had a nice easier pace. Yesterday I had a really bad fever and put in way too many miles than I probably should have. It probably did not help out the situation. But I was kind of just having a real bad reaction. Not reaction, everyone I guess has that reaction, but I was having the side effects from the vaccine. So didn't have a very good night. But I woke up this morning actually feeling a lot better. But I still want to take it easy. So like I said, I only put in 3.6 miles for the day. That put me at 25.3 miles for the week, which put me at 96.1 miles for the month, which put me at 897.2 miles for the year. Now we're going to focus in on these monthly miles. Every single month, I challenge myself to do a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to, and I also start a coinciding fundraiser where we raise money and awareness for that charity. So for the first 6 months, we were able to raise money for 6 great charities. Now we're sitting here in the 7th month, and we're raising money for our 7th charity. In the charity for the 100-mile challenge is in honor of... Wow, I just screwed all that up, guys. I'm sorry. So, July's 100-mile challenge is in honor of the Detroit Phoenix Center. And what they do and what they focus on is they help the Detroit youth homeless get rehabilitated by finding a place to live, by finding some food, like healthier food and stuff too, because, a lot of these younger people may be trying to, dig through the trash or not having access to healthy food. Maybe they're just eating lots of cereal or cheap, food, McDonald's, a lot of fast food. So they help them get a lot of healthier food. They help them get, hygiene, help them get cleaned up. I said also that goes with a place to live. If they don't have a place to live, they help them with an education, also try to find a job and get back on their feet. And they work with, like I said, the youth within Detroit, and they work with anyone from the age 13 to 26 to get them rehabilitated and back on their feet, guys. So all donations that go to this fundraiser, guys, it goes to a great cause this month. If you'd like to help out, you can find the link to do so on the Defining Discipline Instagram or Facebook story, or you can also find that on my personal page's Instagram or Facebook story. Like I said, all donations that get made to this go directly to this fundraiser. Facebook does not take any portion. They are the middleman in this transaction, but they've made the agreement not to take any cuts of the donations. That's why we continue to do it through Facebook, not to mention they are just one of the top social media platforms, and it's very easy and smart to just do it through them. So, other than that, I do know times are tough. Not everyone can donate. The best thing you can do, though, like I said, since this is through Facebook, is just click that share button. Let it be put on your page. Put it on your story. Let the fundraiser be put on your page. Let people see what it's about. Let them, make their own judgments or whatever they want to. But we're just trying to raise awareness, and the best way to do it is get as many eyes on these charities and these causes as possible. And the way to do that is to just share it. Put it on your page, put it on your story. If you're afraid of it being on your page for so long or forever or whatever the case may be, put it on your story. It disappears in 24 hours. But again, the point is just trying to raise awareness for this cause and for these charities, especially this cause this month. I never heard of it before. I kind of discovered it right before July hit and decided, hey, I really wanted to help out, but never heard of it before. And me just putting it out there, I'm hoping it brought a lot of attention to people who never heard of it before as well. The few one person that did donate and one person that's been sharing it and helping out and stuff. I don't think they've ever heard of it before, but when they seen it, they wanted to definitely help out. So, other than that, let's just kind of get ready and get into today's episode. I'm still feeling a little wonky, guys, trying to just get back into it. Like I said, today was a nice, easier day than normally what I would put in, because I went out with my wife, and for that reason, that's what we're actually going to talk about today. Today is day 197, and for today's episode, now that I'm kind of on the recovery and stuff, we're going to try to just talk about what today was about. So episode 197, guys, it's about training. And I want to talk about training because something that I found out about training. One, it is very, very important no matter what it is you are doing, whatever you want to be good at or get better at. If you want that to be the case, you're going to have to train. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to put in the work to get better. I don't care what it is. If it's video games, you got to play a lot of video games to get better at video games. If it's running, you got to run. If it's even just at work, if you want to get better, you got to put in the time and the effort to get better. So training, and to never think that just because you put in the work and just because you do have this many hours put in or whatever, that there's not always going to be lessons to be learned within your training. You should always, retrain yourself, because there's always going to be things that once you get so far in, you may forget that happened to you before, to put it just on a runner aspect, not that it's something that's happening, but when I first started running last year within the 2020, I was having real bad knee injuries, and I couldn't really figure out what the problem was, and I was trying to run through it here and there, putting on knee braces, doing all this, and come to find out the whole time it was my hips. I wasn't stretching enough and I wasn't opening my hips up, and my body just wasn't used to all of the running I was doing, and it was trying to catch up. And so me knowing that when I'm doing my training, it's easy to forget that because now I'm doing all these days and, I haven't had knee problems. But the thing to remember is when I come across a knee problem, I can always go back and think, hey, I remember in my training when I came across a knee problem, first thing I'm going to try to start stretching it out. But really what I wanted to talk about training today, guys, is not necessarily that you can always remember things, but it is always necessary to continue your training, to continue pushing yourself, like I said, and continue practicing and getting better and figuring out how to get better. And one way I've truly discovered to get better at something is not only to do it repetitively and not train yourself, but to try to teach. And within the teaching, within you teaching someone your knowledge, even though that your knowledge may first off, you should have some knowledge. You should be at least more knowledgeable than the person you're teaching and have at least a decent amount of knowledge. But when you are training someone, as you are training them, you are almost kind of giving yourself that refresh course I was talking about, and you're kind of retraining yourself, and within training them, you may discover something. There's so much stuff you can learn within training someone. And, like I'm saying, today was a training day for my wife, and we went out there, and it started off, we did a 5-minute, slow warm up, and then we were going to do some fartlek running, and we did it for about half the time we were really supposed to, and she kind of got worn out real easy because she's just now getting back into it. We're doing a 14-week plan that I got for her, so we're trying to get her back into it. But she did good. She got the amount of time done we were supposed to get done. It just half the time fartlek, and then the rest of it was just pacing, but just getting out there and working with her and working with her on her stride and getting out there and motivating her, when she's starting to slow down and telling her to pick it up, and just really getting out there and helping her train was really pushing me and helping me become better. And it's helping me rediscover things within, my training. For instance, even just doing, the other day when I worked with her, and the other day we did intervals, and then today we're doing, like I said, fartlek, and I don't do those really anymore. I normally just do kind of like pacing. So whatever I'm feeling for that day is what I'll go at. If I feel like I can go fast that day, I'll go fast. Sometimes I guess I'll do unintentionally interval work and unintentional, fartlek, but I don't go out there and purposely do it and really focus in on it and going out there with her, even though it wasn't at a fast pace or anything, but going out there and working with that. It was like I was really reteaching myself, like, hey, I should maybe dabble in this, it's not a bad idea. Like, yes, I am going out distance and doing, really trying to preserve my body and going out there, like I said, and just doing pace, just however I'm feeling, just running at just whatever I feel, just running. So I am doing that, and I'm getting the miles in, and I'm getting in the reps and the work, but just going out and really putting in the interval work and all of that, it just felt great. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of rediscovering my own training. I need to kind of get back into this. So there's so much you can learn within training, within your own training, and there's so much more you can even learn about your own training within training someone else. And like I said, I'm not advising you to go out there and train someone, especially if you don't, I'm not a professional, so I'm not even saying you have to be a professional, and I'm not even trying to professionally train her or anything or go all out and we're, running something crazy. But if you're doing something, if it's on a professional level, obviously you don't want to go out and train someone, so don't take the message the wrong way. But I think what I'm trying to say is when you're doing something and you have when you're a little bit higher up and you have more advice you can give that's very helpful, and you are training someone, you are helping someone out, and you are going through something like that, while you're doing it, you can learn so much more by, like I said, helping them out and training them. There's so much more you can take in and learn more about yourself and rediscover within your training or whatever the case may be that you apply this situation to. So that's kind of what we were going to talk about, what we were talking about today for today's episode, was just training. Because like I said, I got out there today and it felt great to really work with my wife. And even the other day, it felt great to really work with her and try to get her on this plan, because I know since the pregnancy, she has ran a few times, but I know she hasn't been on a stable plan, and it's kind of bummed her out. And getting her, we're 14 weeks out, getting her on a plan, letting her know it's not too late to get into it, and she can still get this half marathon done. It's possible. It's going to be hard, but when it gets here, it's going to be over and done. She feels so much better about it, and when she looks back on it, it's not going to be that hard. And she doesn't think so by the time next year. So I'm telling you, it's going to be addicting, and she's going to be running the marathon. So it's going to be fine. But like I said, it felt great to get out there and to train, and to, with my training, to go out there and also help and train someone else. So that was a really great feeling. And like I said, I learned so much from it. So for that reason, guys, for your daily discipline for the day-to-day, it is to do that, is to think about your training and to really focus in on your training, and to realize that every day is training day, baby. There's always going to be room for improvement, to always get out there and continue to train. You're never going to be the master. Yes, you can be very, very good, but there's always room to be better. I don't care how good you are at anything. Even ask Tom Brady, ask Michael Jordan, ask the greats who've won everything. There's always going to be room to get better and be better, and it's true. You don't have to even put it into a sports analogy, but you could put it into anything. Any person that's great, and they're one of the best, and they're known for being the best within whatever field they're at, it's because they realize there's always room for improvement, and they can always get better and always top themselves, and they always try to continuously top themselves. I think that's another thing that we're not going to necessarily talk about this episode, but it's always them versus themselves. They may have probably some competitive people that they're competing with within the business world or whatever they're doing, but I always think that the main motivator within their greatness is them versus themselves. That's where at least I find my greatest motivation. But that is, again, another conversation for another day, because today was about training. So we are going to close today's episode out. Like I said, your daily discipline for the day, it is to really focus in on your training. And if you are focused in enough on your training where you think you need to really step up your training, maybe a way to step up that training and to continue to learn from that training as well as to train someone else. So if you think you're at that level, maybe look to help someone else out within that field, or train them or help them figure out how to get a little bit better, even if it's just, like I said, just for the day, if that's the case. But if you don't have someone like that, or you don't think you are comfortable enough within that field, then your daily discipline for the day is just to, again, just get out there and train within that field. Just start training, guys. Get out there on a daily basis and start training. Put in the work. I promise you won't see the results right away, but the more work you put in, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, I promise after those days add up and you got 2 or 3 months in, just the improvement within that time frame, I promise it will blow you away. So get out there and get training, guys. That is your daily discipline for the day, episode 197, day 197. Before we close today's episode out, I didn't talk about it before. I think I might switch up the format to be like this, but I've been trying to do 30 minutes of reading every single day. I failed yet again, just because this morning I got up and was attending to a few other things. Wasn't able to read, but did feel a lot better, so the sickness was not the excuse this time. But I will read tonight. I will start getting back into that book, Beyond Order by Jordan Peterson, the second book in his 12 Rules for Life series. This one is more about chaos. I really enjoyed the first chapter within it, and I really enjoyed the first book, the just 12 Rules for Life. just 12 Rules for Life, I think was what it was called. Not Beyond Order. Antidote to Chaos, that's what it was. 12 Rules for Life and Antidote to Chaos. I really, really, really enjoyed that book. But I did not read the 30 minutes, so I can't talk about that. But I have been doing a word of the day, and ironically, the word of the day today is actually a word that every time I hear it, it makes me think of Jordan Peterson. But hey, just from something he ties to this word, or he has a saying about this word, or I'm going to quit talking about it. Like I said, I'm half out of it, guys. So today's word of the day is omniscient, and it is having infinite awareness, understanding, and insight, possessed of universal or complete knowledge. And you know what? Hey, let's have some fun. Let's read actually what he talks about. So he actually brings up the idea that this is let's not read it, guys. I don't want to get into it. We're already 21 minutes in. We don't need to make this a 30-minute episode getting into something else. It doesn't matter. But that is the word for the day, omniscient. So, yeah, other than that, today is day 197, episode 197. Thank you guys so much for following along and listening to the podcast and subscribing. I hope everyone out there is having a great day, a great year, a great week, a great month. Hope everyone is out there pursuing their goals and achieving greatness, pushing positivity out there, guys. Let's really try to become better people. I understand other people are out there making us angry, and other people have different views than us, but we are never going to solve our problems by fighting with them and arguing with them. I get that sometimes it seems like it may be the only answer, but I promise it is never the answer. If you have to, just sometimes you got to walk away, ignore them or whatever, or lead by example and be the better person. But let's just try to make this world a better place. Let's leave a better mark than what we have been leaving. And I think it starts on the individual level, guys. So let's really individually work on ourselves, become better. Get out there, start training, get your daily discipline in for the day. Like I said, today is day 197. I feel great, feeling a lot better after this vaccine fever I had yesterday. I don't feel better after the vaccine, but I just feel better after the vaccine fever. Let's get it. So we're going to get back into tomorrow, episode 198. Other than that, thank you guys so much again for following along. Give us a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and whatever podcast streaming platform you guys have been following along and listening on already. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 198. Other than that, peace.